Peace, peace, peace. Osio, halito. How's everybody doing? All right. So, peace to everybody in the chat. We're going to dive right in. The topic is Easter is up on us next Sunday, right? So, I'm going to do a little Enigma Solver Chronicles on y'all tonight. So, this has to do with Easter, the planet Venus, the sun, the black sun. All right. So, all right. It's some planetary alignments going on in the skies. All right. You know, our ancestors built ancient sacred spaces, sacred places called observatories where they observed the stars, the planets, the heavens. All right. So, all right. There are some planetary alignments. The ones that we focusing on are, all right, April. This is April. All right. There is a smaller alignment that will occur around April 17th, featuring 4 planets: Venus, Saturn, Mercury, and Neptune. This will be visible low in the east before the sunrise. Now, okay, now the Jesus character with Easter, how they basically remixed all of this stuff, because remember, Abrahamic religions are the baby religions, so they got a remix of a lot of cultures in their stories, right? So Jesus resurrecting is a picture of the sun rising. It's also a combination of when the Jesus character was born, how they followed the stars in the east, right? The east star, the eastern star. All right. So it's a lot. It's like a not even a gumbo pot, because gumbo is good, it's delicious, but it's a hodgepodge pot of different cultural stories. Then later comes the Abrahamic religions, and they speak on this, right? And they show you in the character of Jesus, which is just a personification and allegorical story about the sun rising. All right. It mixed what's happening in the sky in the winter solstice, and the spring equinox. Right after the equinox, then the sun starts to rise higher and higher. So in the winter, you have less sunlight. So it's a picture of the sun is dead, and then in 3 days it's going to rise again. So from winter to spring, that's when the sun rises higher and higher in the sky. So our ancestors and colonizers' ancestors came up with all these stories about what happens in the heavens. So we're going to focus on the melanated indigenous ancestors, their stories about Venus, the sun, the black sun. All right, the heavens, the cosmos, right? They describe these events, right? This is why they built these great observatories, right? So let's go here. All right, so Venus is a planet that is revered in ancient indigenous cultures. All right. First up, we're going to go to the Maya, it's a Maya. All right. Now, check out Robert Thornton, his literature on the It's a Maya. All right, y'all check him out. Shout out to him. He has some great information on here. So y'all check him out. Check out his blog, his website. All right. So we're gonna go right here. All right. So this is where this comes from. All right. So where is my page? Thank y'all for tuning in. Whoever is tuning in, y'all tune in later. Y'all tuning in now. Peace unto you. All right. So in the Maya mythology, Venus was known as Chak Ek. Ek can also mean black, y'all, or no Ek, the great star. All right. Venus is the great star or the great planet in the sky. All right. They built observatories just to watch Venus. Not only do they focus on the sun, the moon, and other planets and star constellations, but Venus was the star of the show. All right. Now, the great star of Venus was associated with warfare and conflict, particularly its rising and setting. All right. Now, Venus is known for love, but the other side of Venus is war. So you have the Libra sign, who is the carrier of the scales of justice. It represents karma, judgment day, justice, balance. All right. So on one side of the scale is love, peace, harmony, balance. And on the other side is war, karma, on that ass. All right. That type of energy. And so Venus is the duality, the balance, the good, and the warlike. All right. So, all right, the Mayans believed Venus's movements influenced the timing of battles and military campaigns, and its appearance before sunrise marked a time of potential conflict and chaos. All right, the morning and the evening star, right? In your Bible, it talks about the morning and the evening star. All right, we're gonna get to that. All right, this is Enigma Solver Chronicles. Y'all just walk with me. Y'all just stroll with me, ride with me, all that good shit. All right. Here's a more detailed look at Venus and its association with warfare in Maya cosmology. All right, Chak Ik and the spear thrower. The name Chak Ik translates to spear thrower or the spear, and the Mayans associated this celestial body with warfare, depicting it as a warrior god or deity wielding a spear. All right. Venus's cycle and conflict. The Mayans meticulously tracked Venus's movements across the sky, recognizing a cycle where the planet disappeared and then reappeared. All right. Meaning, like, oh, it died and then it rose again. All right. They come up with these stories to describe the events in the heavens and the cosmos, right? All right. So, recognizing a cycle where the planet Venus disappeared and then reappeared as the morning star. This reappearance, especially the first time after invisibility, was seen as a time of potential conflict. All right. Now, the Maya had stories about it, myths, legends, allegorical stories. All right. The Maya myth of Venus. All right. The myth of Venus as a warrior god or goddess or morning star often depicts him or her as a being who brings discord and chaos to the world. This is describing karma, judgment, all right, attacking other deities. Mainly, okay, you have a good spirit attacking evil spirits. All right. Now, this includes the sun and disrupting the natural order of things. So, like I said, the tipping of the scales, Venus can flow in love, balance, peace, and harmony, but Venus can also flow in the war energy of karma, okay? Karma and ripping havoc and shit. Just like Judgment Day on that ass, all right? So then we have warfare and sacrifice. The Mayans linked Venus's appearance with warfare and human sacrifice. And the humans that were sacrificed were colonizers, invaders, all right? Believing that these events were necessary for maintaining the balance of the universe and ensuring the continuation of life. All right. Then we have the architectural alignment. Some Mayan structures, like the House of the Governor at Uxmal, have been interpreted as aligning with the movements of Venus, suggesting the planet's importance in Mayan culture and potentially influencing their understanding of warfare. All right. It's some goodness, y'all. Some goodness. So that is one aspect. All right. Now we're going to show another aspect of Venus. All right. Now, here we go. Venus the Victorious. All right. Okay, we did that one. All right. Thank y'all for tuning in. Peace to everybody in the chat or those making comments. All right. Okay. Now, I'm going to make the correlation and then we're going to go back to Venus, but I want to show y'all the similarities, all right? Now, the title of this is Venus Rising and the Black Sun Rising, okay? The Black Sun, all right? Now, this person, she wrote a book, right? A fantasy novel, but it was inspired by pre-Columbian indigenous cultures, all right? Particularly of the Americas, all right? Now, in this book, the first in Between Earth and Sky trilogy, it explores themes like generational trauma, celestial prophecies, and the path to redemption. All right. This is, all these things are tying in, right? The story revolves around this character, Narampa, a sun priest, a ship carrying a hardened captain and a young passenger, and Serapio, a young boy raised to seek revenge. All right, so this is dealing with that war and peace energy. All right. In the context of Mayan civilization, the black sun can refer to a couple of different things. Solar eclipses, all right. The Maya called the solar eclipse Chi Ibakan, meaning to eat the sun. The Salagi, Ani, and Waya have a story about the frog ate the sun. So, in different indigenous cultures, they have these stories, which are elementary stories to describe things that happen in the heavens, things that happen in the cosmos. All right. Teaching tools. These stories are allegorical teaching tools, right? To teach you about what happens in the heavens. All right. They understood how the moon could cause a brief blackening out of the sunlight. All right, then you have Kanich Ahua's journey. The Maya believed that the sun god Kanich Ahua traveled through the underworld, Shibalba, each evening and was reborn at sunrise. Okay, it's like when the sun goes down and you don't see the sun, they view it as it's dead or it's sleep or it's dead, and then when it rises again, it's reborn, it's resurrected. All right. So each evening and was reborn at sunrise. Solar eclipses were seen as a broken sun to some and a possible sign of cataclysmic destruction. All right, a figure in Mayan mythology. There's also a figure known as the Dark Sun, who was an Ajah ruler of the Maya city of Tikal. Tikal. Whenever I see that, I'm like, do Method Man know what his name means? He's like named after a great ruler, a great warrior. All right. So, okay, around 18 AD. All right. And then they talk about her novel because she based it on pre-Columbian indigenous cultures stories. All right. This is where she got her shit from. All right. Now, and they also talk about it here in this right here. They talk about her book. All right. So let's go right here real quick. All right. Check out the stories in your Bible. All right. Now, when the Bible was crafted, it was crafted from a bunch of things. It's a remix of a remix times probably a million, right? But it's little gems in there that will let you know where they got their shit from, right? Now, I view the Bible as an allegory, and I read the signs, the symbols, and the messages from an esoteric standpoint. All right. Now, y'all just look for all the scriptures that talk about the SUN. They didn't take out all the scriptures that talk about the SUN, because the SUN, the personification of the SUN in the Bible is the Jesus character, the Jesus character, the Yeshua character, all right, is the SUN in the sky. They also mix it up with Venus, all right, and we're going to get more in depth into Venus, all right. So just check out this little scripture. I just used to tell this to people, and some people got it, and some people would just look at me like I was crazy. But the Bible says, okay, in Malachi 4:2-4, it says, "But for you who revere my name, the Son of Righteousness will rise with healing in its rays." Some versions say healing in its wings. It's talking about the sun and the sun rays, all right? And those who don't revere the name, they will go out and frolic like well-fed calves. All right. That's kind of like a shot to other entities where like the totem for the entity is a sacred cow. All right. So this one says, "But for you who revere my name, the Son of Righteousness will rise with healing in his rays." Okay, it's saying the same thing. All right. So this is just a depiction of Bible scriptures that speak on this, right? This is in your Bible. There's other scriptures about the SUN. They didn't take that out. They substituted it with the SON, with the personification of the SUN. All right. So it's very interesting, y'all. All right. So let's get to back to Venus and EaSTAR, EaSTAR, right? All right. Now this is all right. While the popular belief that Easter is derived from the Mesopotamian goddess Ishtar is widespread, all right, it is a mixture of things. Okay, so they can't say it's totally inaccurate. All right, the word Easter is more likely to be linked to a Germanic goddess, Aostre. It also is related to the Mesopotamian goddess Ishtar. So all these civilizations, all of these cultures have similar stories, all right? It's just amazing, okay? So, all right, and then they have the Latin term albus relating to the bright colors and the new beginnings associated with spring. This is just the ushering in of the season of spring when things are sprung forth. Spring represents birth, rebirth, resurrection. All right, it's the beginning of life. All right, and it's 4 seasons. All right. Spring is about the beginning of life, the birthing of life. Summer is like living life to the fullest. And then autumn is when you start to get to that elder wise age. All right. So you have the baby stage, the reborn, rebirth, resurrection. All right. Of the spring. All right, then you have the summer, living this long life. And then autumn, or they say fall, it represents elderhood, wisdom. And then winter represents going into that deep sleep, that deep meditation, that deep sleep they call death. And then spring happens and it's resurrection, rebirth, reborn again. All right. This cycle continues. It's dealing with life and different seasons in your life. It's describing them. All right. So this is talking about it breaks down the etymology. It says the connection to Ishtar is a later this is I'm just giving y'all AI's overview, but just peep this out, y'all. Just peep this out. All right. Now, the idea that Easter is named after Mesopotamian goddess Ishtar, who was associated with fertility, love, and war. This is describing Venus. All right. And like I said, in a lot of indigenous cultures and other cultures, they talk about Venus and they talk about the sun. Sometimes they mold their characteristics together. All right. It depends on what part of the world you reading their writings from. All right. The writings from them. All right. So, all right. All right. Ishtar, who was associated with fertility, love, and war. All right. This is not a misconception. AI, get this shit right. It's other books and writings that support this, but it's also saying this belief gained traction through the 19th century publication of Two Babylons by this guy, which claimed a Chaldean origin of the word Easter. Okay, so that's one aspect, but it's different aspects. All right, don't get stuck there. However, his claims, they said it lacked foundation and blah, blah, blah. But all these other fantasies, do they say that about those? But anyway, The modern English word Easter is more likely related to Old English EaSTAR or Eastern, and then they show the Germanic goddess EaSTAR. The most likely origin of the word Easter, in their opinion, is the Old English name, blah, blah, blah. It represents spring and rebirth. It still represents the same thing. All right. So this is believed to have been a part of the German pantheon. So different parts of the world, they had their pantheons on how they perceived Great Spirit, Great Mystery, the source of all things personified in this earth realm. All right. So this feminine spirit, this aspect of Great Spirit, was honored with festivals during the spring equinox. All right. The name itself is thought to be related to a Proto-German Ostron, which in turn derives from this Proto-Indo-European root os, meaning to shine, thus the dawn. All right, just like the Mayan saw it as the morning star or the evening star, because it would disappear for a time. All right, you see it in the evening, and then you will see it at the dawn, the morning star. You would see Venus. All right. This ties to the connection between spring, dawn, and renewal. This is that is central to both pagan and Christian interpretations of Easter. All right. During Easter, all right, they say Resurrection Sunday. Okay. It's all about love, fertility. All right. Love and being fruitful and multiplying, being, reborn, that type of thing. When you, the fertility part comes with being reborn, meaning, having copulations so that you can birth forth the nations type of shit, right? All right, then they go to the Latin connection. Alternative theory proposes that the word Easter derived from the Latin phrase albus in white. All right, this phrase refers to the white vestments worn by Christians on Easter Sunday, symbolizing purity of resurrection. This came later. All right. The Latin term alba or albus means white, and the phrase albus is used to refer to Paschal Vigil. All right. Then they have Ishtar. All right. Ishtar was a significant goddess in ancient Mesopotamia. Her worship and associated festivals, we can't say that they're separate from Easter. We're not gonna say that. Oh, they really like fucking with AI too. They really are. They really don't want you to know, because before they start having this AI overview shit, they was not doing this. All right, we're gonna look at this shit separately too. All right, so this is the thing. Ishtar, Easter, is related to Venus, representing fertility, love, and war. Her worship is often involved in celebrations of the spring equinox and renewal of life. So while the Christians are celebrating Jesus, other people in the world are celebrating the aspect of the feminine, who carries the womb, the portal to life, to actually give life. So spring represents the giving of life, the birthing of life. All right. And the woman has the womb to do that, right? She brings forth the life. And then it talks about, all right, her name in the Semitic origin may be related to the name of the god Adder, in their opinion. All right. Yes, there are a lot of similarities. Okay. So, all right, with Easter egg hunts and shit, yeah. All right. And I've broke this down before over the years. As probably as long as I've been on YouTube doing my channel, but all right, Easter eggs, okay? The bunny, the hare, the rabbit. All right, represents fertility. All right, life. Life. When something is fertile, it's full of life. It can give life. So this is where your Easter meets Resurrection Sunday little hodgepodge pot comes together. So you have Easter egg hunts, which represents fertility, it represents life, being reborn, resurrected, and then you also have the personification of the SUN in the form of Jesus, Jesus, Yahshua, as the Son dying on the cross. And in cosmology in the heavens, that is the sun, SUN, rising at the southern crux in the sky. All right, let's pull that shit up for y'all. All right, sun in the southern crux. All right, here we go. All right. The Southern Cross, or the Crux constellation, is visible in the southern hemisphere and is not directly related to the sun's position or movement. They say a crux. The brightest star in the crux is located at the base of the cross and is a multiple star system. All right. The sun's apparent position in the sky is influenced by the Earth's rotation and its orbit around the sun. Here's a more detailed breakdown, right? The Southern Cross, the Southern Crux. This constellation is a collection of stars that form a cross shape and is primarily visible in the southern hemisphere. All right. It is the brightest star in the crux. A crux is also a triple star system, meaning it consists of 3 stars. All right. Y'all remember, it's like, okay, the story of when the Jesus character was about to be born. They talk about the stars of Bethlehem, the stars in the east, right? They are showing y'all like the cosmology in the Bible, right? How it does talk about the star constellations, etc. It talks about a lot of stuff. If you look at it esoterically and you peep out the Gnostic Bible and other writings and then read the Bible and you will get it. All right. So this is talking about these stars. Remember, they followed the star of Bethlehem to see where the son was being born. That's talking about the SUN being reborn, because at night the sun goes down and then it rises in the morning. But this is talking about specifically the seasons. It's talking about springtime is when it rises, it starts to rise higher. All right. Right after the spring equinox, that's when it's equal. Like you have sunlight hours equal to nighttime hours. That's with the spring equinox. All right. Even with the fall equinox, that's when the daylight and the nighttime hours are equal. And then right after that, then in spring, the sun, the SUN, starts rising higher and higher. Therefore, we get more hours of sunlight. All right. So this is what it's describing, but they have turned it into these allegorical stories and fables and parables. And then people take it literally, like these people exist. But it's just describing the energies and what happens in the cosmos with these Venus, sun, moon, the planets, and the star constellations. Okay. All right. The sun appears to move across the sky due to the Earth's rotation in not a fixed position. The sun's path also varies depending on the time of year and the observer's latitude. All right. And it's just saying the same thing. All right. So this is just let me see if let me show y'all a picture. Let's see. All right. This is the perfect one right here, because I use this one right here. I use this. So this, okay. All right. This is a depiction right here. This is where you get the Jesus dying on the cross story from. All right. And the birth all in one. All right. Let me show y'all. Okay. Okay. Right here. Right here. All right. This is where you get this from, right? This part is describing, okay, when the son was about to be born, the SUN, all right, you have the star in the east, all right. The star in the east is basically what they're describing as the star is Venus. Then you have Orion's belt, the three kings. Remember, these three kings came to see the Jesus character, the SUN, being born. It's a lineup right here. These are the three kings in the sky. This is the star in the east that they was following, because these three kings are following this star to see the sun be born again. This is what it's about in a nutshell. I wish I could just sometimes just hug people and tell them this story, but I understand that everybody is not going to wake up to this. And I understand because I used to be there. I started out knowing about other spiritual systems, and then Christianity was the forefront growing up. I had my own ministry. Y'all know my story. If y'all new to my channel, I used to be a prophetess in the church. And I had my own prayer ministry, evangelist, traveling, praying with people, etc. So I know what being a Jesus freak is all about. I know what being a diehard Cretan Christian is all about. I done been there in the trenches. I wasn't in the nosebleeds. I was on the field. I was out there in the field, witnessing the people, until I said, I want to know the truth, no matter if it goes against anything I've been taught to believe. I just want to know the truth about spirituality, period. And as soon as I said that and I was serious, the floodgates opened. And I did deeper research of writings that predate the Bible. And once I started looking at that shit, I'm like, oh, they use these elementary stories and parables to teach the children and people that were, still on that, like, I would say, fourth grade level, third grade level of reading and comprehension. And then as they got older and they were able to understand the deeper meanings of these parables and allegories, then they got to learn about the esoteric, the hidden signs and symbols and what they mean and what it's really saying. But they use this as teaching tools. It's kind of like even the little Mary had a little lamb shit is really, it's really teaching about the character Jesus story. But I'm using that as an example to show y'all how that they use these examples just to show you about life in the universe and the cosmos and what happens in the heavens. There's a saying in the Bible that says, on earth as it is in heaven. And in the esoteric world, to people who are awakened and they see the truth about the matter, they see it as above, so below, meaning what's happening in the sky and the cosmos, those energies affects what happens here on the earth realm. If it's chaos in the sky, then it's gonna be chaos coming down here. Like when it's thundering and lightning, it starts in the sky and then it's mirrored here on the earth realm. That type of thing, right? So this is Christmas and Easter all in one picture. This is Christmas and Easter Sunday, Resurrection Sunday, all in one picture. All in one picture, y'all. So take a screenshot, look at it, all of that. This is talking about during the winter solstice, right? And let's see if they got one for the spring spring. All right. This is the SUN on the Southern Cross, the sun dying on the cross. This is where you get that story from. And the three wise men. These were the three kings, the three wise men. Orion's belt, 1, 2, 3. These three. And then the bright star, the morning star, and the evening star, Venus. Okay. So they have some other pictures about this. And this is how it looks in the sky, and they kind of like, show you. I don't know what that is, but you see it like right here, and they line them up. Bam, bam, bam. All right. This is the brightest one right here. All right. So these are interesting stories. This is part of the Enigma Solver Chronicles. All right. It's very interesting, to say the least, y'all. To say the least. So we're gonna go back to Venus real quick, right? We're gonna look at this because it represents rebirth, resurrection, all of that, right? All right. So another aspect of Venus is in the Roman culture, they have a deity or a spirit that represents love, beauty, fertility. Venus also had a connection to war. And see, this is the same motif. This is the same story in all of these different cultures. All right. See the similarities. This is what syncretism is. Syncretism is how all of these cultures are bringing stories that have the same lessons. All right. about love and war, peace and war. Having balance is the key. One of the main keys to the universe is balance. It's a time for peace and it's a time for fucking war. It's a time for love and it's time to hate. It's a time for everything. All right. So this is also right here. Okay. It's saying in Roman mythology and their little stories, this goddess association is with victory because Venus, just like the Libra energy, because Venus is the planet for Libra, it represents victory in the sense of balance. It's a time for love. It's a time for peace. And it's a time for war. All right. It's a time for karma, judgment, justice. Okay. All right. And it says, here is a more detailed look at Venus's relationship with war. You have Venus of Victrix, one of Venus's epithets, Venus Victrix, victorious Venus, all right, directly linked to her military victory, all right. Just like the Maya, they saw Venus as like to represent a warrior energy, all right. All right. The Punic Wars, they talk about this during the Second Punic War. The Romans sought Venus's help and vowed to build a temple to her to honor if they won, demonstrating her association with the military success. And so it's the far back you go, meaning what predates the Bible, what came before Abrahamic religions, the feminine aspect was highlighted and it wasn't in the shadows. It was highlighted, it was celebrated, and yes, you had the movements of people that just straight went on that patriarchy shit. But in some cultures, even though the woman was highlighted, the feminine aspect was highlighted, some of those cultures had balance. There was like a divine couple, all right? The female and the male aspect together, the mother and the father. Those cultures were balanced because they saw the mother and the father, not just solely the mother and not just solely the father, all right? But this depiction also comes in as like one of the first images of God was Venus of Willendorf, and this is a depiction of a pregnant woman, meaning you know how in the Bible it says that the male God created Adam and then made the woman from Adam's rib. Okay. In other cultures, they saw God as a great pregnant woman, and she gave birth to the nations. All right. Her womb gave birth to the nations. Okay. So, and this is a picture of her. This is art. This is from ancient civilizations, and this is for educational purposes only, for research, all of that. I'm gonna show my disclaimer, all right? But this is one of the first depictions of what goddess was, the great mother, before patriarchy ran amok, all right? This is a depiction of the Great Mother. A knotted head, pregnant woman. Basically, Negroid, indigenous type woman. This is how this was one of the first depictions of what goddess looked like. Just so y'all know, the Venus of Willendorf. So Venus has been out here cutting up since ancient times, y'all. Since ancient times. And let me pull up my disclaimer. I'm trying to show the thing. Wait a minute. All right, let me show my disclaimer right quick. All right. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit education or personal use tips the scale of balance. Okay. Education or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Y'all see it. Take a picture, take a snapshot, a screenshot. All right. That's my disclaimer, y'all. But it's on my page, so it's always there. Just so y'all know. But back to the lecture at hand. All right. Now Venus. Let's go back here. All right. Peace to everybody in the chat. Oh, people been commenting. Peace, Chief Colson. Peace to you. Thank you for tuning in. And everybody who's gonna tune in later. Thank y'all for tuning in. Peace. Wado Yakoki Shonabishi. All right. So right here. Venus. Venus appears to go through 4 phases. All right. This is from the Archaeology magazine. Venus appears to go through 4 stages. For 250 days, the planet is known in the Western cultures as the evening star. As it follows the setting of the sun, after the evening star phase, Venus disappears for 8 days before returning as the morning star. The 236-day-long phase, when it rises just before dawn. After the morning star phase, Venus disappears for 90 days before returning again as the evening star. All right? This is like goes with that balance, y'all, with the sign of Libra, with Venus being this and Libra being the scales of justice, the justice of the universe, etc. All right. Now, a document from Central Mexico, written in the late 1500s, called the Annals of Cuauhtitlan, all right, associates the 8-day period between the evening and the morning star phases with the death and the resurrection of Kukulkan or Quetzalcoatl, all right, a deity known as Kukulkan to the ancient Maya. Kukulkan, all right, Kukulkan was the sky god and the most powerful of the ancient Maya deities. According to Aveni, rituals celebrating the appearance of the morning star may have been on a large plaza in front of the house of the governor, providing the rulers of Uxmal with a way to commemorate their ties to the sky god. So Venus, I keep telling y'all, Venus is the shit, y'all. All right. Now, like right here. Okay, so let's go here. All right. Just a second. Let me show this. Let me show this right quick. Okay. All right. I don't know why this is. All right. I hate these commercials, but I'm gonna just show y'all this real quick. All right. And I love this ancient cosmology shit because it really breaks down a lot of religions and spiritual systems today. It really does. So if y'all new to my channel, and those that have been here, y'all my subscribers, I appreciate y'all. Y'all know I rocks with this, right? I've been to the ancient land of the Itzamaya, and this is El Castillo. This is where they can see Kukulkan going up the stone mound. They say pyramid, but up the stone mound or down the stone mound. They can see the shadow of Kukulkan. All right. And you see the serpent at the foot. So I recognize, and if you ever got a spiritual reading from me where I use the Toltec Oracle and delve into your indigenous astrology, I do use these cards that have pictures of the codices. All right, they have pictures of the codices, and the codices are the oracle cards. All right, and they break down the meanings and how the Toltec, like, they actually, kept the writings and the spirituality and culture, and they utilized it, right, to help a person in their daily life. So Venus is important. All right, it's my planet, and I even go to the observatory here. It's actually right there, over there, right there. That's where the observatory is, and I'm just everywhere. I'm just so excited, y'all. It was an awesome experience being at Chichen Itza in the Yucatan. All right, the home of the Itza Maya. All right. So they reverence Venus. This is at the right here is by the observatory right here. This is where they looked out of the ancient telescopes and they built these structures and these holes like windows so that you could see Venus's movement. Like it's deep like that. So this kind of shit gets me spiritually high. I don't know about y'all, but this is my shit. Peace to everybody tuning in. I appreciate y'all. So we breaking down Venus and the black sun and how this is related to Easter, because it's about to be Easter and Resurrection Sunday. And we talking about the morning and the evening star that's dealing with Venus, the planet. All right. So yeah, that's where the observatory is. And this is just a 6-minute video. This is my video, so I can use this for critique. And I love this. Yes, y'all know I love Ish, the Jaguar spirit. But that was in front me, like it was kind of on the side of the observatory. They also saw the Maya also saw the spots on the jaguar as the constellations. So our ancient ancestors been observing the stars, the cosmos, the constellations, the planets, the sun, and the moon for eons, as they would say. They've been studying it, and I'm gonna pull that up for y'all, real quick. All right, my Jaguar spots. While I'm pulling it up, I'm gonna push play for y'all. All right. Yeah, so Jaguar spots is constellations. Yes. Okay. All right, when I find it, I just got to find the paragraph. I done found it. Okay. And I needed to put Ekbalam on here. I didn't even put Ekbalam on here. I'll do a separate one about the Jaguar and the constellations. But this is the ball court. Yes, that's where I am right there, the ball court. Where they play, where this is where they get basketball from. So, yes, so they did. This is next door to the observatory where they did observe Venus, the planet Venus, and the stars, the constellations, the sun, and the moon. But mainly they've focused heavy on Venus. Kind of like a lot of cultures focus solely on the sun. Yes, they do have a mound, a stone mound of the sun and stone mound of the moon. So they did observe what happened in the heavens. Yeah, I was excited, y'all. I was on one. Spiritually high. um, so I'm gonna let this play and then I'm gonna show y'all the similarities in how they viewed the spots on the Jaguar as the constellations. And then we're gonna go back to Easter, EaSTAR, because we're about to celebrate the time of fertility. This is when spring, the flowers bloom, the crops start growing, sprouting up. The earth is like fruitful. It's the smell and look and feel and experience of vibrant life right now. Spring and the beginning of summer. Yeah. So let me see if I can fast forward. It's only 6 minutes. Let me see how many more minutes we got. But I thank y'all for sharing this experience with me today. But I wanted to see where our ancestors came from before some of them traveled up through the southeast. Y'all check out the Toltec mounds. That area is very interesting. All right. So our people have been traveling. And I love how they observe the stars. And I use that knowledge with some of the spiritual readings that I do. Depends on which one people get. I tap into that. Right there, that's the observatory. And that's the side of the observatory where they have the jaguar right there. And the jaguar throne, the seat of the jaguar is inside of the big El Castillo, the temple of Kukulkan. All right, let me take him off of here. All right, so, all right, so I'm bringing this up because this is showing. All right. The jaguar god of terrestrial fire is recognizable by a cruller around the eyes, making a loop over the nose, the jaguar ears and fangs. He personifies the number 7, which is associated with the day Akbal, the night, usually called jaguar god of the underworld. He has been assumed to be the night sun, the black sun, all right, the night sun, all right. This video is about Venus rising and the black sun rising, all right. The shape supposedly taken by the sun, Kanich Ahua, which I did just talk about in relation to Venus, right? During his nightly journey through the underworld, by reason of having large eyes filled with incisors that also occur with the sun deity. And remember, I told y'all sometimes they mix these together or they have them in the same stories. All right. And of sometimes evincing a infix, the deity's hypothetical aspect of a nocturnal sun, that is, subterranean fire, should perhaps be connected to his proven association with terrestrial fire. He is often represented burners and connected to fire rituals, while his cruller may represent a cord used in making fire with a stick, a ta'ub. Moreover, vases in conical style show him captured about to be burnt with torches, the nocturnal sun. So they come up with stories to describe this, all right? The nocturnal sun hypothesis is complicated by this very incident, and even more so by the fact that the fiery jaguar deity is identified with the star, okay, constellation or planet. The god's other sphere of influence is war. We talked about Venus represents love and war. All right. So I'm showing y'all this to show y'all about the constellations, the star. And all right, I'm not going to read this whole thing. I'm going to try to find if they mention it again. And even the calendar, okay? The cards that I have, and one of the readings that I do, it has the calendar where I'll tell you your indigenous astrology. All right. It's 2 calendars, a sacred calendar and then another calendar. All right. You have 13 rulers. You have 260 days. Yeah, it's really interesting to me. Okay. So they even talk about maize, and the maize god has a jaguar headdress and is connected to the night. All right. Okay. All right. They are protectors and transformers, shapeshifters. This is another thing. Y'all know me as the ancestral shapeshifter in this piece. All right, now the spots represents the constellations, but this and this is one of mine. This is the other side. Is Tezcatlipoca. All right. This is also represented by the obsidian mirror, the mirror that you look in to see yourself, your shadow self, anything that like your raw evil side, your bad side. You deal with shadow work with that. All right. It's represented also the Ekbalam, the black jaguars represented. But they did show this other one. Okay, let me look the Jaguar constellation. Let's put that. All right. Okay, let me go to that. All right, let me pull that up real quick. All right. So y'all see that the Jaguar constellation, it is a Jaguar constellation. All right. The Jaguar constellation is located near the Scorpio in the head of the Anteater in the Southern Triangle. Okay, and this is a myth, a fable, a parable. All right, to describe. Oh, look at that beauty. All right. All right. It says there were Mayan priests called Balaam, yes, all right, who officiated at only most important ceremonies, all right, and you better believe they ceremonies was dealing with the constellations, all right. So I'm just showing y'all overview because we're gonna get back to Venus, all right. Just showing y'all, all right. Y'all a little preview. Y'all can check the channel. I have some other videos about the Jaguar spirit, which is dear to me. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up Jaguar constellations. All right. All right, here we go. In Mesoamerican cultures, the Jaguar constellation is not a recognized astronomical constellation like Ursa Major. Instead, various indigenous groups, including the Tucano and the Kobua people, have associated specific constellations like the Cetus with jaguars. All right, for example, the Tucano and Ko'ua see a jaguar in Cetus, representing the god of hurricanes. Some cultures also associate the constellations, like Scorpio, in the head of the anteater in the southern triangle. All right, so these are just examples. And I did show y'all Tezcatlipoca and Ursa Major. Ursa Major, the Great Bear constellation, instead of them viewing it as the Great Bear, they view it as the constellation of the Jaguar. So when they look at the stars, they don't see a bear, they see a jaguar representing Tezcatlipoca, which is one of mine in indigenous astrology. All right. Tezcatlipoca's Nagual is an animal in disguise who is the jaguar. All right. So that is one of my quote unquote signs or deities in indigenous astrology, and the jaguar is its familiar or nagual. All right. So, all right, it's dealing with representing power, strength, the sun, or spiritual connection. All right. So let's get back to Venus because it's all connected to the stars, etc., the constellations and the planets. Because we about to have these planets lined up. Lined up. And it's going to be interesting. So this is another aspect of Venus. All right. And this is EaSTAR, Easter. All right. Easter was originally the celebration of Ishtar, the Assyrian and Babylonian goddess of fertility and sex. How do you be fruitful and multiply? Is by having sex, being fertile. Her symbols are the egg and the bunny, the rabbit. All right. These are sacred. Eggs represents life. All right. The bunny, the rabbit. That represents fertility. It were and still are fertility and sacred sex symbols. Um, they said a little joke. Anyway, it says after Constantine and the Council of Nicaea, all of them, check out that, how they came up with the Bible and what books was going to be in the Bible and all of that. What stuff they wasn't going to show y'all, what stuff they was going to show y'all, what stuff they was going to write in there, and what stuff they wasn't going to never let y'all see. All right. After they decided to Christianize the empire, Easter was changed to represent Jesus. What? Remember I said this shit? Okay. All these different things of ancient cultures and then Abrahamic religions are the baby. They came later. All these ancient cultures been having their practices. All right. Jesus' character came later. All right. So this is Constantine is the one, him and his council of Nicaea and them other councils that they had. They Christianized the empire and they took what happened with Easter, Ishtar, and changed it to represent Jesus. Okay. But at its roots, Easter is how you pronounce Ishtar. All right. Celebrating fertility and sex. All right. So, all right. Now, this will kind of be like even in the Jesus story, how they do talk about Mary and how she's the womb, the portal to life, that the Jesus character came into the world through her womb, right? So you do have a mixing of Easter, Ishtar, and the Jesus character who represents the sun. All right. Mary is another aspect of the Black Madonna or the different derivatives, the Lady Guadalupe. These are the great mothers. They represent the Holy Spirit, which is the feminine aspect of God that they tried to hide. They didn't hide her early on. Like I said, early on, this was one of the first depictions of what God was and what God looked like. Was a Negroid indigenous woman with knotty hair and full figure and a pregnant womb. This was one of the first depictions of the Great Mother. All right, the visible image of God, goddess, creatress, creator. All right. So, um, I've been on here an hour and 20 minutes. I gotta go to bed. I got business to handle in the morning. But I did want to share that with y'all. And Easter is coming up. And we can do, maybe, a part 2. Y'all let me know how y'all feeling. Oh, one more thing before I close out. I wanted to show y'all this. All right. Now, this is about the Venus rising, this energy in the spring, and the black sun rising. Also, the black sun Venus is another thing that they describe, all right? The black sun Venus can refer to a few different things, but it can refer to the black drop effect observed during the transits of Venus, where a black spot seemingly appears around Venus's edge as it crosses the sun. This effect is an optical illusion caused by the combination of the sun's limb darkening and imperfections, they say, in viewing instruments. Okay. All right. So it depends on your telescope, right? Additionally, black sun Venus can also refer to the linoleum cut by this lady or a film, blah, blah, blah. All right. Then they talk about the black drop effects and optical illusion, most noticeable during transits of Venus, is the apparent black drop or indentation around the edge of Venus as it crosses the sun's disk. It was initially thought to be due to Venus's atmosphere, but it is now understood to be an artifact of viewing equipment. Wow. And the sun's limb darkening. So AI says. All right. Transits of Venus. These are rare astronomical events where Venus passes in front of the sun as seen from the Earth. They have specific pattern of occurring pairs separated by about 8 years, then 121 years, 6 months, followed by another pair of transits, and then a repeat of the pattern. All right. And this lady did that and blah, blah, blah. So let me see if there's anything else I needed to show y'all. All right. There she is. Right? Venus, the lover and the warrior. All right. And I did give y'all these facts about Venus. So we'll reconvene. Easter's coming up. I could do a part 2 about Easter. Peace, George. Peace, everybody in the chat. I already spoke to Chief Colson. I'll probably be back for a part 2. I love shit like this. I love spirituality, symbology, and how our ancestors and ancient ancestors viewed spirituality, the cosmos, astrology, how the world works, the energies in the world, all of that. So it's very interesting to me. And it calls to me, it has been calling to me since I was little. But this is what's happening this week. Let me pull it up. What's going on in the sky? Oh, this was another one about EaSTAR. Just so y'all can see this one. But where is it at? All right, let me see. Where is it? I know I didn't lose that page now. All right, we'll come back to it on part 2. But I did just want to share that with y'all. Oh yeah. I'll just type it in. Planetary alignments. Planetary alignments. We'll say okay. All right, this one. Okay. On the 17th up to the 21st, okay. On April 15th, there will not be a large-scale planetary alignment visible to the naked eye. However, Earth Sky reports that Mercury will be reaching its greatest elongation from the morning sun on April 21st, making it a good time to spot it in the morning sky, though it might be challenging to see from the northern hemisphere. Actually, a smaller alignment of 4 planets. This is what I wanted y'all to see. This is about to happen. All right, on the 17th. All right. A smaller alignment of 4 planets, Neptune, Mercury, Saturn, and Venus, will be visible around April 17th, according to Star Walk. All right. So it's going to be some interesting energies in the air. All right. So if y'all stargazers, star watchers, y'all can check that out. Y'all can check that out. It will be interesting. It'll be very interesting, y'all. So once again, thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate y'all. And if y'all want to support, y'all can check out my merch. I have workout gear. Let me find it for y'all. I have some workout gear. Okay. All right. This is all right. I got the half hoodies, the backpacks, the mugs, the little wine tumblers. I have the glasses. I have the Pilates mats. All of that. Matter of fact, let's go here. All right. This is my store. All right. The link is I'll put the link in the description or in the comment and pin it to the top. So if y'all want to support, I got merch. I got the Oracle collection where I got the workout gear and the Pilates mats, the yoga mats, the Oracle collection right here. And then I have Honoring the Matriarchs, Y'all can get this around or before Mother's Day. Y'all can treat somebody to the honor and respect the matriarchs collection. So y'all can check out my store, the merch. I appreciate y'all. But yeah, for those that, like to work out and do yoga and Pilates, meditation type, I have it in that color and in this color. I like the black better, but try to have a selection of colors. So I got the leggings and all of that. I even got the bathroom set where you have the shower curtain and the rug. So I am the Shiny One Oracle. So I have the Oracle collection. All right. So I'm going to close out on that, y'all. I appreciate y'all support. Very much so. And y'all have a peaceful night. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace. Asheo. I love y'all. Peace.